Hi, nature lovers. Nothing says winter is over like trees starting to bloom and the landscape greening up again. Spring is officially in the air. But hang on, not everything sprouting right now is something to celebrate. Some of the earliest signs of spring, like invasive bush honeysuckles behind us and the Bradford Callery pear trees, are actually bad news for our environment. Yep, those seemingly harmless shrubs and trees are actually invaders. In fact, the Missouri Botanical Garden has even labeled bush honeysuckle as the most destructive invasive plant species in the St. Louis area. Hi, I'm Brad Holmes with the University of Missouri Extension Master Gardeners. And today we're diving into the topic of invasive plants and how we can work together to help our native ecosystem make a comeback. Our main focus today will be the invasive bush honeysuckle, also known as the MUIR honeysuckle. It originates from far eastern Asia, and way back in 1898, the New York Botanical Garden introduced a MUIR honeysuckle in the U.S. as an ornamental plant. It was also promoted for erosion controls on hillsides and fields. Well, it didn't take long before it started spreading cross-country through our native woodlands, crowding out everything in its path. Today, we're at George Owens Nature Park in Independence, Missouri. They've really had an ongoing struggle with bush honeysuckle. And as you can see, every year they work diligently to turn these choked woodland scenes into this. Thick bush honeysuckle was removed from this part of the park last year. There are plenty of reasons why this plant tops the most unwanted list. It hogs sunlight, drinks up vital nutrients and water, grows aggressively, and crowds out the native plants like this Osage orange that actually belong here. Bush honeysuckle is easy to spot. It's usually the first plant to leaf out in the spring, and it's the last to lose its leaves in the fall. The bark is grayish brown, and you'll notice that older stems are hollow. In the spring, creamy white flowers later turn yellow. And then in summer, lots of bright red berries. So what can we do about it? First off, don't buy any bush honeysuckle or take one as a gift from a well-meaning but uninformed gardening friend. If you unfortunately already have some on your property, there are a few good options to tackle it. With any of these methods, be sure to follow safety guidelines and wear your personal protective equipment. Now, there are three main ways to get rid of this invader. You can spray the leaves with an appropriate herbicide, or pull it out by the roots, or cut the stump and dab it with herbicide. All have varying degrees of effectiveness. If you use a foliar herbicide spray, timing is key. Spray the leaves in fall when the honeysuckle is still growing, but our native plants are dormant. Be sure to use a herbicide labeled for use on bush honeysuckle. If you spray a bush honeysuckle like this, be sure not to cut the stems for at least a year, because the herbicide needs time to travel from the leaves down through the root system and fully kill the plant. Now, for smaller shrubs, digging up the entire plant, roots and all, is very effective. If they are small enough, you can often pull them out by hand. Just know that if you leave any pieces of the root behind, it will try to resprout. So, if you pull a bunch out in the fall, double check the same area the following spring and pull or spray any new sprouts that you see. For larger plants with trunks over an inch in diameter, cut stump herbicide treatment tends to work best. To do this, cut through the stem near the ground and then dab on an appropriate herbicide with a small brush or dauber within minutes of making the cut. For more details, see our resources in the Show More section. Not sure where to start? You don't have to go it alone. Reach out to your local extension office or contact the Extension Master Gardener hotline with questions. Master naturalists are also a great resource on this topic. If you'd like some initial hands-on experience, groups like Bridging the Gap, Powell Gardens, George Owens Nature Park, and Kansas City Parks and Rec often host volunteer events focused on invasive species removal and forest restoration. It's a great way to learn while you make a real you got something out of this Tuesday tip, give it a like and feel free to comment. We'd love to hear from you. Subscribe so you don't miss out on our next video. Till then, see you in the garden.